Welcome. In this video, I'm going to discuss 3 benefits of a bad boss. First, however, I want to address the question, why are there so many bad bosses? In doing research for this video, I came across an article written by Gallup, which states that only 1 in 10 people possess the talent needed to be a great manager. Now, does this mean that 90% of the managers out there are terrible? Not at all. Gallup went on to say that 2 in 10 individuals have some of the talent to be successful in their role and positively impact an organization. However, these people would benefit from coaching and further development. And I would argue every manager can benefit from coaching. But you may be wondering then, well, what does it take to be a great manager? These are the 5 talents that Gallup found make someone an exceptional manager. Number 1, they motivate every single employee to take action with a compelling vision and mission. Number 2, they have the assertiveness to drive outcomes and the ability to overcome adversity. Number 3, they create a culture of clear accountability. Number 4, they build relationships that create trust, open dialogue, and transparency. And finally, number 5, they make decisions based on productivity and not politics. And so when you think about this list, it's a lot. It takes a lot to be a great manager. So I wanted to start here so it helps inform us of why we may hear about one bad manager after another. Over the past 10 years as a career and leadership coach and an HR professional in the tech industry, I've heard about the good, the bad, and the your manager did what? So I'm going to share a few different types of managers I've heard about and experienced myself. We have the MIA manager. They don't schedule one-on-ones. They don't know what their team is doing. They're nowhere to be found. We have the just the facts, ma'am. These are managers who want you to show up. Speak in bullet points, R2D2, 1, 2, 3, 4. They want you to leave your personality, your emotions at the door. We have the narcissist manager. It's all about me, baby. They want the spotlight. They want the credit. They're not open to feedback. We have the conflict avoidant manager who will not address any dysfunction on the team. And the result is the fish starts rotting from its head. That means the leader is unhealthy or incompetent, and it seeps down to the team or maybe the whole organization. So these are just some examples, and for anyone watching, you may be thinking, oh yes, I had an experience with one or many of those managers. So I want to talk about the benefits, because you may be wondering, Colleen, come on, like really, are there benefits to having a bad manager? Yes, there are. Number 1, you learn not to allow one person to define you. I'm going to share a story. Roz Brewer, one of my hands down favorite CEOs, I have such admiration and respect for Roz. I look to her as a role model. For those who are not familiar with Roz, she is the current CEO of Walgreens, former CEO of Starbucks, and former CEO of Sam's Club. So Roz gave an interview for the Harvard Business Review podcast. And she was asked a question, tell me, Roz, about an inflection point in your career and how it defined you. And so the story that she told was about the time she was expecting her very first child. And she reported to a manager who did not think she was smart enough and was concerned that she was about to have a child and would not be successful. So Roz had a decision to make. Would she stay at home and be a full-time mother, absolutely fine decision, or would she try to prove this manager wrong and be not only a mother, but a successful businesswoman? She chose the latter. And what she said is it's imperative to not believe the hype from someone who's looking down upon you. Interesting enough, Roz actually moved into her manager's role 18 months later after this individual retired early. And I think about how much power and influence a manager has over us, how we view ourselves, what we think our future could look like, right? How respected and valued and appreciated that we feel. And so if Roz had listened to this one manager who, for whatever reason, did not see her potential, it could have been likely his own stuff, she may not have had the success that she has had in her career. I still think she would have, because she's so incredibly talented, but it's just interesting. I would really think about how much power you are giving to a manager who simply doesn't believe in you. And it's really important, and I'll discuss the next benefit, to create a village of support. Your manager can't be the end all be all. They are one person, and so it's really important to think about different individuals who can help support you and develop you in your career. So highly recommend a peer mentor. This is a colleague potentially at a same level of you or even a lower level. They have domain expertise or skills or strengths that you do not have. You can learn from this person. So as an example, a number of years ago, I moved into a role where I needed to have expertise in pivot tables and data storytelling, two areas I was not an expert in. What I did, I sought out a peer outside of my team who was a data analyst, 10 years of experience. She was phenomenal. We met every few weeks. She provided honest feedback to me. And I think if another peer on my team had served as a peer mentor, I don't know if they would have been as honest. They may have worried about hurting my feelings or saying the wrong thing, but I just really appreciate that this particular colleague knew her role was to help me become proficient in pivot tables and to really tell a story, especially to senior leaders using data. And I'm so grateful that I met this mentor. Next, a senior mentor. It's really important to think about someone who's ideally 2 levels above you, who you can learn from. You may want to be in the same role as this individual, or you may simply admire and respect this individual. The key with a strong mentoring relationship is that there's chemistry. You need to get along with the person. I think it's beneficial to engage with a mentor who has a very different background and skill set and experiences than you do. I think you learn more from people who are different from you. This mentor is going to be telling you about how they got to where they did. They're going to be telling you different areas that you can develop as a professional. Next, you need an advocate. Now, I wish early on in my career that I had realized how important it is to have an advocate. This person is singing your praises when you're not in the room. This is someone who's going to say, I believe in Colleen's abilities. I see Colleen's potential. I think she's ready for promotion. Or the advocate may help you from an internal mobility perspective. They may help recommend you for different job openings. Maybe they introduce you to their network outside of the company. But when you're experiencing a manager mismatch, I cannot emphasize the importance of an advocate. Because if you have a manager who simply doesn't believe in you, it takes a tremendous toll on your confidence. And it's helpful to have others, such as an advocate, who really sees your potential, provides positive feedback, provides that kind of nurturing and support that's vital as you progress in your career. And then finally, recommend a coach. Of course, I'm biased since I am a coach. I started working with my own coach at the age of 25, but I think it can be incredibly helpful to work with someone who's asking you questions, who's really serving as a mirror, someone who's providing honest feedback to you. The coach could be internally, if your company does have coaches on staff, or the coach could be, an external coach. And what I would say is, in working with a number of different individuals over the years, both as an external coach and also as an internal coach, you just need someone who can hold space for you and help you kind of unravel, all the complexity in your mind. And so, for example, I've had individuals come to me and say, Colleen, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, I just feel lost. I feel stuck. I feel deflated. And so through a process of, introspection, asking the client questions such as, what are your strengths? What type of work really energizes you? What type of work drains you? Let's talk about your favorite role. What is your dream role? And it's just amazing how much clarity can come out of even one conversation. And I've experienced that myself working with various coaches over the years. So figure out, who do you need in your village of support, and who are the right people to fill the various roles that I shared. And then the final benefit of a bad boss is you learn greater empathy and compassion. I came across an article published by Harvard Business Review this past May, and the headline was, over 50% of managers are feeling burned out. And so just think about all the demands that have been placed on managers during the pandemic. They were trying to juggle their own family life. They were having to solve some of the most complex problems they had never seen before. How do we pivot a whole workforce to fully remote? How do we schedule thousands and thousands, in some cases, of on-site interviews to virtual interviews? How do we think about return to office and future of work? I witnessed firsthand during the pandemic, due to reporting to a number of senior leaders, like just what they were dealing with. Back-to-back meetings, not having time to even eat lunch, getting 4 hours, maybe 6 hours of sleep if they're lucky, having kids at home that suddenly, they're having to take care of them while managing a full workload, having parents who got COVID, maybe they got COVID or a spouse got COVID. I think we really have to understand what is happening with our bad boss from more of a holistic perspective. And know that it's very easy to criticize from the outside. Think about, if you were in your manager's position, would you be excelling, right? Would you be able to juggle, all the demands? And yesterday I spoke to a close friend who's in a management role, and she said, Colleen, I'm tired. The reason is she's having to deal with a lot of fear right now from her team members who are wondering, will there continue to be layoffs? Because she is a manager in the tech industry. She's also dealing with her kind of own concerns around how AI may replace some of her team's work. And so I think right now, and for the past 3+ years, we've been all feeling, pretty overwhelmed. The world has seemed upside down. And so if you're wondering, why isn't my manager better? Remind yourself that they're human and that takes a lot to be a great manager. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please feel free to share any of the benefits that you have experienced in reporting to a bad manager. See you next time.